Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. Something a bit different and something I've been wanting to do for a long time. Basically because I've been taking me a while to get hold of one of these, a CB500X. I wanted to do a comparison between the CB500X and the good old NC750X to see where the similarities were, to see where the differences were, because quite a lot of people have said to me, you know what, they seem to be very similar in power, which is better for me? So let's take a quick look. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me. I've been wanting to do this for some time, so apologies it's taken me so long to put together, but do a comparison between this, the CB500X, this is a 22 model, and the Honda's NC750X, and this is an older one, this is 2018. Because on paper there seems to be a lot of similarities, and yet the bikes are very different. So just wanted to go through briefly. There's not going to be lots of flash on road video or something, but just a bit of a talking heads piece about comparing the two bikes. And if you've got any questions after the event, please put them in the comments below, and I'll come back to all the comments, always do, and tell you what I think if you've got outstanding questions. But so what are the differences? Well, the obvious difference is the 500 uses a 500 twin, 180 degree parallel twin, and the 750 is a 750 twin, and that's the biggest difference between the two bikes in some respects. But beyond that, the power is very similar. The power is very similar. This has a few more horsepower, sort of 3 or 4 more horsepower maybe, but it weighs about 30 kilos more. So you tend to find the actual power is in real terms much the same between the two of them. Obviously this is a 750, so it's got a bit more grunt than the 500, but there again the 500 has a bit of an ace up its sleeve in the fact that it runs lower gearing, much lower gearing. So at say 60 miles an hour this will be doing about 3,000 revs, 60 miles an hour, and here it's doing best part of 5,000 revs if I remember rightly. Certainly a lot more revs on the go on this one. So which is better? Well, it really depends what you want. Let's put it this way. Honestly, having put many thousand miles on here and having spent a good few hours on this one today, I think they do fall into quite neat categories, if you will. Round town, this 500 is lighter. On pothole streets, the suspension is definitely smoother, certainly on the 22 model, which has got the upside down forks on the front. It's just a smoother ride. It just genuinely is. It's very, very easy to ride. It's A2 compliant, so it's designed, everything is very light and smooth and polished. In typical Honda fashion, the clutch is notoriously light and smooth to pick up. So round town, I actually give the nod to the CB. The suspension on the NC is harsh. Even with the newer ones, I still think they're a little bit harsh and even a bit firm at the back, and it just isn't as smooth and sophisticated feeling as the suspension on the CB500X. As far as economy goes, the economy is pretty much the same on both of them. You're looking at high 80s, low 90s. If you're on a long tour at low speed, you may scrape into the low 90s, and there's probably not much to separate the two in that regard. And same with top speed. Top speed is around 110 on this one and 115 on this one. So on faster, you get out of town on faster roads, and it's pretty much an even match, I would say. The NC feels a little bit more punchy. It's got the bigger engine, it's got more torque, but no more power to talk of at the top end. So it has got a good bit of drive there when you want to squirt on. But the 500 doesn't feel lacking. It genuinely doesn't feel lacking because it's so low geared. It can punch above its weight and still pulls harder than you expect a 500 twin to pull. And as the speed goes up, say between sort of 50, 60, 70, it doesn't see, the 500 doesn't actually pull any less than the 750 here, which is a bit of a surprise, to be fair. So where does the 750 pull back, if you like? Well, I think if you're doing longer journeys and longer distance, then the longer legged characteristics of the 750 do work in its favour. If you're doing lots of motorway or longer distance fast A roads, it is a lot more relaxed, it's fair to say. The low gearing on the 500 does make it a little bit buzzy. Above about 65 it does start to get a bit, but it will do it all day long, and it won't blow up or anything, but it just starts to feel a little bit more buzzy, a little bit more vibey, where the 750 is really just purring away like it's got all the time in the world. Now the downside as far as the 750 is concerned on longer journeys is the fact the seat is appalling. The standard seat on these, even the latest ones I don't think is brilliant, but the standard seat on the 18s and 19s, and I think the 21's got an improved seat, someone correct me if I'm wrong, the seat on here is bad. The seat on the 500 is really nice. So you've got this whole package now with the 500. I'm a bit of a convert, you're starting to get the picture, I'm sure. So the suspension is much smoother to the point of almost being soft on the 500. So around town, it's just much more supple and more, just feels more classy. And the seat is much more accommodating. So I'd rather, if I had to sit somewhere for a couple of hours, it would be on this one and not on my NC, I have to say. So, but apart from the seat, the long distance attributes of the engine on this bike tick that box, if you like. So I guess what I'm trying to say is around town and cross country and shorter journeys, perhaps at slower speed, this is the one I would go for every day. If I had to do lots of motorway stuff at high motorway speed, I'd probably go for the NC still and just factor in getting a bit more of a comfortable seat. I think that's pretty much it. I just wanted to do a quick sort of back and forth between the two. They are so similar in many respects, and yet they do feel so different on the road. This is so much more laid back in the engine department, and this is a little bit more punchy and a little bit more revvy as you'd expect it to be. For me personally, and I know everyone's different, if you could put that engine in that chassis, that's pretty much, for me, pretty much a perfect bike. I'll leave it there. I'm sure there's lots of other stuff I should have covered and haven't remembered to cover. If there's anything you want to ask, please pop it in the comments below, and if you like it, obviously tick the like button. But yeah, anything you'd like to ask about comparing the two, while it's all fresh in my mind, pop it down below and I'll come back to you guys straight away. Thanks again. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.